Wrestlebuddy Podcast. All about wrestling. Subscribe and follow for more content.
Thank you for joining us at Wrestlebuddy. This is me. I'm going to go by Jimmy Bebe. I'll be doing the interview with you today. So I'll just jump right into it. I've noticed on Twitter last few days, and now I see your jersey. You're a big football fan. Is that right?
Yeah, man. I'm loving life right now. I love football. So week one's fun.
Yeah. So with that said, the Ravens are playing tonight. Are you watching the game or are you watching Monday Night Raw, man?
Well, man, so, I love wrestling. I've loved wrestling since I was 5 years old. But, man, it's nice to love something else. And I just absolutely love football and baseball. It's the Ravens' first game, so I'm going to be paying most attention to that. I know Big E just teased his cash in on Twitter. Like he's teasing cashing in the Money Bank. So during commercial of the Raven game, I'll switch over to that just to see what's going on there. But I'll be mostly paying attention to the Raven game for sure.
I hear you, man. Got to get that first game out of the way.
That's right.
So let's go back to the beginning. What was it that drew you to wrestling, and more specifically, what was it that made you want to pursue it as like your career?
So the first two wrestlers I remember seeing were the Ultimate Warrior on WWF and Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express on NWA. And the guys I was drawn to at first in the late 80s. I was like, I don't know, the Ultimate Warrior just looked like a superhero come to life. He was all jacked up, running to the ring, face paint. And Ricky Morton, there was just something like so subtle about him. Like he looked like he could be your uncle or your dad's best friend, somebody cool that you knew. So those are the two wrestlers I really started getting into. And I was watching both NWA and WWF in the late 80s, my first memories of it. And I just loved it right away, man. And I loved it ever since. And I always wanted to do it. As soon as I saw it, I just wanted to be a part of it.
Okay. So you mentioned you watched WWF and NWA. So I guess that probably answers the question. But later on, when the Monday Night Wars were happening, you had WWF, you had WCW going head to head. Which one did you find yourself more attached to?
It just depended on that Monday night, which show was more interesting. If Nitro was more interesting than Raw, I was going to watch majority of Nitro. If Raw was more interesting than Nitro, I was going to watch Raw. But the majority of the time, I always felt like Raw was more interesting, especially in late 98, 99, and 2000. 96, 97, when the NWO got hot, anytime the NWO was on, I was watching Nitro. They were so cool, man. And me, being an early teen at the time, and then in all my teen years, the NWO was awesome. And then I also liked watching Chris Jericho, the Lionheart back in those days, early Chris Jericho stuff. Was cool. But yeah, I'd be back and forth, especially in those 96, 97 days. But after that, 98, 99, 2000, just like most people, I was watching more Raw than Nitro.
You hit the nail right on the head with me with the WCW. NWO and Jericho, that was it. I was hooked on them then. So, kind of comparing it to what we have today, we have AEW who's kind of just quickly rose to the top. Do you see any kind of comparisons as to the war back then and then the war today, quote unquote, if you want to call it a war?
No, it's just we have a second big company again. There's no the thing is WWE is what it is. It's a global phenomenon. People know what it is all over the world. It's because they've been around for over 50 years. If you go back to WWF days, Vince is turned into what it is. It's great that there's another big company, but there's the thing I don't think most people understand is, and WWE puts it right out there for everyone to see, is WWE's TV PG. They want the families. They want the parents bringing the kids. That's why you have a Lily doll that sells out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're not like, because on the internet, it's so funny, man. They talk about ratings. Oh, AEW is doing great in the demo. They did better than Raw by 1,000 people in a demo. I'm like, WWE doesn't care about the demo. The demo is 18 to 49. They're going after the kids. They want to. This product is TV PG for the kids, which AEW, they're an older audience. They're TV 14. They're forgot their blood and they're bleeding and cursing a lot more. And it's so, they're going to do a little better in that demo sometimes. But, 2 million people, over 2 million people are watching SmackDown and AEW. Dynamite's around the millions. And it's cool. It's great for everybody. I'm glad people are enjoying 2 wrestling shows again. And we just don't have just one that's, nationally recognized as a big company. Now AEW is as well. And they did it in such a short span, and good for them. Kudos to them. I enjoy some of their product as well. There's things about Raw I like and I don't like. Every wrestling show, NXT, Dynamite, SmackDown. My personal favorite show, and maybe I'm a homer, is SmackDown. I love the Roman Reigns stuff. Absolutely love it. He's killing it on the microphone. The storyline's great, where he's just so above everyone else, even his own family. And then, in matches, he's performing at an all-time level in his matches with Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Edge. He's killing it, man. John Cena and him had a great match. Like, the guy's on fire, man. He's the best thing to me, in my humble opinion, going right now is Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Even the match he was having with Usos, like it was just great stuff. You knew the outcome, but man, he was just killing it with his storytelling.
The Hell in a Cell match with oh God, with Jey Uso, it's just great stuff, man.
Yeah. So with the AEW, you mentioned how quickly they rose and everything. Is that surprising to you how fast they've kind of like hit the gate and then they're just flying? It's
absolutely not, because the star power's there, meaning Jericho, Moxley, Sting, Mad Hardy. These are superstars known worldwide. Now they added Mark Henry and Paul White, and CM Punk and Bryan Danielson. These guys were on WWE the last 15 years old and featured as world champions on there. So everyone knows who these guys are. Everyone loves them. And now they're on this other channel, and you know who they are. So you're going to watch, because especially CM Punk, who was gone for over 7 years, who people just absolutely love. So no, it doesn't surprise. It surprised me that WWE is somehow not hanging on to these guys, and they're going to the other place. But no, it doesn't surprise me how quick AEW's rising, because wrestling is a star power driven business, and they have all these made stars on their show, and it's only going to help MJF get over. It's going to help Darby Allin get over, Jungle Boy, Hangman Page, because those are the guys at AEW that are just amazing talents. And and the Young Bucks are people love the Young Bucks, and people love Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega. So they were already made before they got there too. So they got a lot of star power. It's a star power driven. At all got as popular as they are. Hopefully they get more popular, because I feel like they're stuck at where they're at, and it's can they get more of the families into it, the parents and the kids and all, or is this what they are? They're for the 18 to 49 demographic. Is that where we're at? Or we'll see. Only time will tell. But no, I'm not surprised at all that they're doing so well.
You mentioned the demographics with WWE, how they try and tackle the entire demographic.
Yes.
They're not just going after one thing. And I'm curious if AEW was going to do that myself. Are they going to be just okay with having that precious 18 to 49, or are they going to branch out and go for that younger demographic that WWE seems to be leaning more towards this year or lately in general? Mm-hmm. So between AEW and WWE, are there any storylines? You mentioned the Roman Reigns stuff, but are there any storylines or characters, people you haven't had a chance to have anything with, that you look at and man, I really wish I could be a part of that?
Well, I always think, what would the fans like to see? And man, I feel like I missed the 24/7 title by a year.
Yeah.
And the James Ellsworth character would fit perfectly with the 24/7 title storyline. And I think like it's getting a little stale now where it's the same guys. It's Tozawa, Truth's always funny. I understand. And like, it's the same people chasing it. And like, they're bringing back, I think like Maverick was on Raw last week, and he's already, Maverick. And he's been there and done that. He's entertaining, but he's been there and done that. It's like, so I'm like, man, I kind of like, timing's everything. I've had great timing and I've had bad timing. It's like, man, they let me go about a year before they had us. I feel like the James Ellsworth character would have been very, very good with this story.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's that. When I watched that, I'm like, man, that's something. That's something that I could benefit from, and I think everyone would be entertained by. And then anytime I see Carmella, I'm like, man, they could probably bring me back and plug me in here with her, because it's like they're so up back and forth with her. 1 minute she's fighting for the title, then she loses the match, and then you don't see her for a while. I'm like, man, her and I were like, that was a cool like duo, and I feel like a majority of people felt that way. And I'm like, man, well, we never really finished that off. Like, she didn't get rid of me, and like my story ended with Paige firing me on SmackDown. I'm like, man, they could have me come back for a month and continue that for a little bit, maybe. And we set up for a big match, and maybe I accidentally cost her the match, and then we're done for good. As a performer, you think about stuff that you could do, and those are the two things. There's always ideas in my head. Like, I'll watch like they had the layers of Jericho where MJF was putting them through these layers. As a performer, you go, man, wouldn't it be great if MJF goes, all right, so this is the last layer of Jericho. If this guy could beat me in a match, one of your friends, I know you're personal friends with this guy. If he can beat me in a match, I will fight. And then I come out. Then everybody's like, oh my God, MJF's going to kill him. And then maybe he gets himself accidentally disqualified or something, and
yeah.
And just stuff like that, man. I know my role. I know my character. You can do anything with, but you can't. My character can't win the world title, but you can be in world title matches. But you got to know your role. You got to understand what it is. And I know I'm not out there. I'm not Bill Goldberg beating everybody, but I'm a fun character that you can put certain places and it'll get a reaction, and people will and you got to have it small doses as well. So I feel like I get it with that.
Yeah, I've listened to some of your interviews and stuff. I've caught on, man. You seem to really understand how the business works, and you seem to know like where your role in it is, and you relish with it. You really give it your all, and you're not out there getting released and doing the whole, well, they could have done this with me and all the other stuff. And I respect that a lot, man, because it's refreshing to hear. Man,
so the internet's the best and worst things that ever happened to the world.
I agree.
So there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap on it, fabricated stories, what have you. And then when I see guys, former WWE guys, go, "Oh man, well, I wasn't pushed, or this didn't happen with me," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, whoa! Didn't they pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars? Did you travel the world on their dime? Didn't they make like action figures? Weren't you in video games? Didn't you do all this cool stuff that normal people aren't going to ever do? Like, you should appreciate that. And even if they left a sour taste in your mouth, just think of the positives that happened when you were there and be, grateful for it." And that's how I feel. And when I see people bashing them that used to work there, I'm like, you guys really, like, you're a lucky person that being able to live your dream. And okay, maybe they didn't make you world heavyweight champion, or what? So what? Like, or maybe they didn't book you like you felt like you should have been booked.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, you did travel the world, and you did do all this cool stuff, made a lot of money. Like, be grateful. Like that. A lot of people don't get to experience world travel and stuff. It's just stuff like that. It's so petty to me, but that's just my humble opinion.
I agree with you 100% because I see it and I'm like, man, you guys get these opportunities and you're living a dream, and then to just shit on the people that provided that for you. It's like, wow. Like, but to away from a little bit, you mentioned you see Carmella and you wish you could do more with her. How did that pairing even come about? Like, was it approached to you, or you guys come up with it, or like what was the deal with it?
So we were overseas in November 2016, and I had said hi to Carmella here and there, like didn't really ever have a conversation with her, just hello in the hallway, whatever. Yeah. So I didn't really know her, but she came up to me. We're overseas. Went, hey James, the girls and I were talking in the locker room. Do you know what they're doing with you next at all? Like after you're done with AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose, like that storyline. Do you know? I was like, oh no, they haven't told me. I don't know. And she goes, man, we were all talking. What if they put you with one of us? How would you feel about that? And I go, oh, that'd be fun. I think that'd be, I think everybody could benefit from that. She goes, well, I'm going to go pitch the idea. She's like, I'm going to go to Vince and see if Vince will put you with me after you're done the storyline and see if he likes it. And I was like, oh, like a thing where I help you win matches and I think you like me, but you really don't. You're just using me. Something like that. She's like, yeah, exactly. I was like, okay. Yeah. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And who's going to say no to her, So she, I remember I didn't hear anything after that for like 2 or 3 weeks. And she came up to me. She was like, James, guess what? Vince loved the idea. He wants to talk to us about it next week. And so I was like, oh, okay. I remember the week after that, I was at another title match with AJ Styles. It went like 30 seconds. He beat me real quick. And they beat the crap out of me afterwards. And then we're like, yeah, so Carmella's going to, come in and try to like act like she cares that you got beat up this bad and help you out. People are like, what is she doing? And I was like, oh, so it just went from one storyline right to the other. And like in my situation, I wasn't a guy that went through NXT or the Performance Center. So they could have cut me at any time. They did not have time or money invested in me. Yeah. They were just making money off of me because I got hot, white hot for a minute. So they're like, oh, we're going to make T-shirts of this guy. We're going to make a bunch of money. We'll sign him for a year or two. And, whenever it settles down, we'll just let him go and bring him back every now and then. That's how they felt. And I got it right away. I understood it. But yeah, so I moved on to that next storyline. And at first, I remember the first couple of months, December, January, February, March, April. I was like, man, we could be doing so much better than this. Because we would come out at the house shows and we would both get cheered. Like they thought it was funny that we were together. Like, oh, yeah. This is cute. Ha ha. They would pop, just cheer us. I'm like, man. And like when I'm a bad guy, I would be booed. When I'm a good guy, I want to be cheered. I love watching TV and I just laugh when the bad guys get cheered and that they embrace it and they get like the fans to chant their name or what. I'm like, do you realize you're not a bad guy? Like you're a good guy. Like it doesn't matter if you're doing bad things in the ring. You're a good guy. Like because you're embracing that the fans are cheering you. So I remember I was like, man, we need to do something just to, get some heat. And I remember Vince pulled us in the office one day and he's like, what are we going to do to get some heat? They like you guys. We need to get some heat here. I was like, well, it's obvious. All I got to do is help her beat one of the girls on the roster. Because up at that point, we were just beating like enhancement talent. Like I was helping her win. And like the fans don't know who the enhancement talent girls are. So they're cheering that. They're like, haha, this is funny. He's cheating, helping her. So I remember that day telling Vince that was my opinion. He goes, oh, all right, well, you can help. Like you're going to help her beat Becky Lynch tonight. And it was SmackDown right before WrestleMania 2017. I helped her beat Becky on the SmackDown. And I remember just the boos came in. And we went to the back. He's like, you were right. That was great. They're booing you. And he's like, give me more ideas and this and that. And so I'm like, I was like, man, I got to help her win every week, but it's got to be like different ways. Like I came up with some goofy stuff we never did. Like, what if like a girl's hitting the ropes and I have a stop sign or something and they stop? They're like, what? And then Carmella kicks them. But then I was like, no, I don't want to do that because that'll get a positive reaction too. People will cheer that because that's funny. So the Money in the Bank thing was Vince's idea. It was so perfect. That was just genius. He told us this is what we're going to do. You're going to help her win, and we're going to get a lot of controversy off of it. So then we're going to do another Money in the Bank a week later on SmackDown. We're going to draw a rating off of it. This is going to be great. And I told her, I said, this is going to get us the heat we want. But problem was, it worked. It was great. But once we got that heat, I started even thinking, I was like, she probably don't need me right now because we got the heat. She's got the briefcase, and she has the briefcase. What's she need me for? Yeah. And then when they let me go, and she still had the briefcase, I was like, man, I knew it. And I was like, oh, maybe they'll bring me back when she cashes it in, and I'll help her, or maybe they'll bring me back to help her win some title matches. And then 7 months later, like a month after she cashed in, they brought me back to help her beat Asuka twice. So I was with her. Her and I did that angle a total of 13 months on television. Over a year we were together on television, her and I. Yeah. And for a storyline like that, that's unheard of, man. Like it doesn't usually go on that long for us. Like, Beth Phoenix and Santino, I don't think they got that much time off of it, or like Stevie Richards and Victoria, or like Colin Delaney and Kelly Kelly. And usually storylines like that end in 6-7 months tops. So we did 13 total months of her and I together. So I'm very proud of that time, for sure.
Yeah, and it was good storytelling too. It wasn't like it was something that it was just repetitive and boring. Like you guys kept it to where it was interesting. So that's good. And prior to that, you mentioned your thing with AJ Styles. Before this year, WWE seems to do a really good job at protecting AJ with his wins and losses. It just didn't seem like he took a lot of losses prior to this year with the whole tag team thing he's doing now. But you have 3 victories over AJ. How does that feel, knowing that like you've done something I don't know if anybody else in WWE has done right now?
Yeah, it's just hilarious because for a character like maybe Matt Riddle's beat him 3 times, we don't know. We're not keeping count, but you keep count when I do it because it's unbelievable that I've done it. Like Riddle could beat AJ, but me, it's just one of those memorable things because it's just the way the character I am or played on WWE. So when I do indie shows, if I'm a heel, a bad guy, I come out. I always say I beat AJ Styles not once, not twice, but 3. And those indie fans are like the hardcore wrestling fans who just worship AJ Styles, and they're like,
yeah,
what I mean? Like they're still so mad about it. Like, and the fans, and it's funny, that type of fan, that 18 or 49 demographic, loved me before I beat AJ Styles 3 times. Once I started beating AJ Styles, they were like, screw this guy. It's so funny. Like, it's my decision. I'm doing this. But
yeah.
So to me, it's hilarious. I just think it's funny that I get to say that for the rest of my career. I beat AJ Styles. I'll always brag about it in promos because it's a funny thing.
Absolutely. You got to milk that one dry, man.
Mm-hmm.
How was it working with AJ? I mean, he's regarded as probably one of the best in-ring performers of this generation. So, how was it just being able to share the ring with him?
Oh, to me, my own opinion, I said this before I ever wrestled him. I think he's the absolute best in-ring performer of this era, the last 20 years. Him, no one better in-ring. He's so everything he does makes sense. He does some high flying, but he sells it. And it's hard to explain, man. They call him phenomenal, and he absolutely is phenomenal. He's good at every little thing, every little detail. Everything makes sense, like I said, and there's no one better to me. And I remember my favorite match in WWE is the ladder match him and I had for my SmackDown contract, and just the storytelling in that match, just like the way he just knows how to do everything and make it look good. He gave me if you go back and watch that match, he gave me a backbreaker, and it looked like it was the most beautiful backbreaker I've ever seen, and I sold it real good for him. But he's just so good at every little thing that he does. Yeah. It makes him, to me, the best in the world. I don't think there's anyone better all around in-ring performer than AJ Styles.
Nice. I agree for this era. Like he is just top of the line. Let's see. So you still watch wrestling the day-to-day, you watch all the shows and all that. What do you think is the stuff, if you weren't a fan of wrestling and you were to turn it on today, what do you think is the thing that would capture your attention and be like, okay, I like this, and turn you into a wrestling fan? Like, how Ultimate Warrior did when you were a kid. Like, what do you think today would be that type of thing?
Well, today's hard because it's the compelling characters to me, and like the Ultimate Warrior drew me in, and then the Ricky Morton did. Like Ricky Morton would just look like a everyday guy, so I like that too. But it's the characters, man. If I'm a little kid, if it's 9-year-old James Ellsworth and I'm watching AEW, I would really love Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, because that gimmick, there's a guy. He looks like, Jungle Boy looks like he's out of the jungle story. Like if you're watching, Jungle Boy or whatever, like, and he has a dinosaur, that's cool. Like, I like the Marco Stunt guy, but to me, it's like those two, that's a cool gimmick. Marco, what I like Marco Stunt. I really, if I'm like just a little side thing. If I'm booking the show, I'd make like Marco Stunt MJF's lackey. I just think, I don't know, again, playing Booker when you're watching, I'm like, man, MJF's like degrading this guy, make him carry his bags, and he's always getting beat up because of MJF. He's always putting him in harm's way. But I'm gonna make you a star, kid. You were nothing hanging out with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I'm gonna make you a star. Look at me, I'm a star. Yeah. Anyway, but so it's the compelling characters it always has been to me. If I'm watching this is crazy that they got rid of the Fiend to me. If I'm a kid and I see the Fiend, I'm like, wow, this is cool. Or Alexa Bliss, like, wow, this is cool. Like, it's the compelling characters to me. Then mix that in with the athleticism of the talent, and that's, to me, it's like, wow, this is amazing. And it's always been like that for me personally.
You hit it right on the head with that one too, man. Because I have 2 kids. My 9-year-old son loves Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Those are his things. He never misses them. And then the little girl, she's obsessed with Alexa Bliss and the whole Fiend. Like they're obsessed with them. Like, so
again, the 18 to 49 demographic, like, oh, this is stupid. She has a doll. This is dumb. This is oh my god, this is crap. Meanwhile, those dolls are selling out on WWEshop.com. I'm trying to get my daughter one. They're selling out.
I had to pre-order on the second shipment to make sure we got it for her, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I made sure to take a picture with it to rub it into the internet. Like, hey.
I'm thinking about contacting Alexa and be like, hey, can I get one of those dolls somehow? I'm trying to get one for my daughter. Like, I might do that, actually, because this is, but that's what people don't get about wrestling. Like, it's a show. It's of course this doll's not alive, but like neither's Chucky. You know what I mean? So that's what it's so funny how people think, oh, they're not making it look real enough. Like it's a show.
It's an entertainment show. Yeah. And the one I really love is they're blaming Vince for booking a show for his enjoyment. It's just for himself. And it's like, no, you're just wanting the show to be for yourself. You're not realizing that there's little kids who enjoy this part. There's older people who enjoy this part still. And it's just a combination of things. And
it's a circle. It's a little thing for everybody. It's not all for one demographic. Like, and it's a little bit for everyone. Like that 18 to 49's enjoying AJ Styles or Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn or Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura. But Shinsuke's like his characters for the kids too. The guitarist Boogs, and he comes out with a crown. That's really cool.
All that charisma, it catches there. It catches them. So when you were with WWE during the traveling, did you have like 1 or 2 people you traveled with? Did you have a bunch that you just mixed it up with, or like how did that go about?
I mixed it up every now and then. Like we had Rudy Charles, one of the referees, Dan Engler. He's one of my best friends to this day. I traveled with Shinsuke, traveled with Mojo Riley, traveled with Rhino. Rhino's one of my buddies, that I talk to a lot. I mixed it around a little. I like to get in the car with everybody, just have some fun. But those were the main guys I would get in the car with and just have a good time. It's especially when you're doing those 4 days in a row. That was like mainly our schedule. We would do a Saturday house show, Sunday house show, Monday house show, and then SmackDown on Tuesdays. That would be the majority of our schedule. So Rhino, Mojo Riley, Shinsuke, one of the referees, Dan Engler. Those were like my 4 main guys. There were other times where we're in the car with like American Alpha or Aiden English or, Bray Wyatt or, here and there. But those are my 4 main dudes I would travel with.
So on the ride along you did with Daniel Bryan, was that just a pairing that they gave you, or was it just they asked, hey, we're doing the ride along, is there anybody you would like to do it with, or like how did that one happen? How did that pairing get together?
So we rode together a little bit because he was on the house shows as general manager, and he would come out as a surprise and make a match or whatever, and people would go down. But they only did that for like a little bit when I was first there. So him and I did ride together a little bit. So I think they noticed and are like, oh man, that'd be a funny ride along. and it was. I think that was one of the better ride alongs of all time. Maybe I'll be at a homer myself, tooting my own horn. But when I watched ride along, and I think more people remember that ride along than any other one. Like it was very popular. It was just, he wouldn't let me pull over to pee, and he was sneezing all over the place. And that was all real. And just, yeah, it was funny, man. He's a good dude. I was supposed to wrestle him one time at SmackDown in 2018, and it got cut. I was so upset because I really wanted to wrestle him.
Yeah, that's funny. I was literally about to ask you if the whole him not letting you pull over was real, because I'm like, man, that can't be. He's not gonna pull over.
No, we had to get to and it was only like a 2-hour drive. We were going from Dallas to
Tyler. Yeah,
Tyler, Texas. Yeah.
that's funny, man. Okay, so what's your like, I guess, your good take and your bad take on the landscape of wrestling in general today, based on because when you were younger, the characters, I feel like the characters were more there was a lot more characters that were appealing, and then maybe that's not the case today, just as an example. But what would you say as far as the landscape? What's a bad take and a good take for yourself?
Well, the good take would be there's plenty of wrestling to watch, and that's cool. If you're a wrestling fan, it's a lot of fun. Obviously, the main ones are WWE and AEW, but if you want to find other outlets, you can look for Impact. It comes on national television. It's not on a channel that's available everywhere, but it is out there. Ring of Honor, obviously, they don't have a set time on a set network, but they're out there. I catch that a lot because it's on so many different channels. So that's really cool if you're a wrestling fan. There's so much to watch. Bad take is, I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, like people ragging on social media and all. It's a great thing and a really terrible thing, and I think it shows too much negativity. I think wrestling's supposed to be positive. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a good time. It's supposed to be you're getting away from all your problems and enjoying this thing just like any other entertainment, whether it's music or movies. And yeah, I think it should be more positive. And the fans know too much now, and I don't think it's kind of like if you're doing magic and you hold back the curtain and people can see the magic, or it's not. That doesn't make it as fun anymore. I don't want the fans knowing, oh, well, this guy, I hate it when I came back at Money in the Bank 2018. It was all over the dirt sheets, Meltzer and all those guys, which I have nothing against those guys. They're just doing a job of making money at it, and good for them.
Yeah.
But man, it was already out there that I was doing it. So I did everything I could to put out on Twitter now, because I was supposed to wrestle in China that weekend for an independent show. And I was like, no, I'm in China. And I put up the match graphic and this and that. Then even that promotion put out, no, he was supposed to be here, but he's not going to be here now.
Wow.
Wow. I can't stand that. The element of surprise is so much fun, and I love it. And so when it was out there that I was doing that, I was like, man, they took that away. And I think that's with a lot of it. I think there's so much that's out there. Hey, this is what happened here, and that's what happened. I don't want to know any of that. I just want to watch it, enjoy, and not know any of the magic or any of the behind the scenes or what's going on in people's personal lives. That takes all the magic away, makes it less interesting. I just want to watch, have a good time while I'm watching, and not want to wait to watch the next week. Can't wait to watch the next week's television. That's how I would feel, and I think that feeling is not there as much as it used to be.
Yeah. It's funny because when I feel like it started being an issue early 2000s, when the internet first started gaining some steam and becoming this thing that it is today. And that's when I kind of started falling out of level with wrestling a little bit, is because it was taken away from the surprises. And it's why am I tuning in if I know The Rock's going to be there when he hasn't been there in 6 months? And it seems like it's more prevalent today than ever. And it really does kill some of the enjoyment.
Yeah, then people's personal lives. I don't care who's having marital issues or doing that. That's that's their personal life. Obviously somebody does something and they're in trouble with the police or whatever. Yeah, I get that. But the other stuff, it's just, I don't know. People's personal lives aren't anyone's business, and we're just supposed to be entertained and enjoying the show. I think one of the Usos, he just went through something again. I don't pay much attention to it, and then people are ragging on that person. I'm like, it's none of your business. Yeah. This is wrestling again. To me, it's supposed to be fun and enjoyable and a good time. I always tell when I meet students that are at wrestling schools or when I go to indie shows, I always make it a point to tell the younger guys that are just getting in or only been in for a few years. I go, remember, this is supposed to be a good time for you. First and foremost, I know you want to make it big and make money and all that great stuff, but never forget that this is supposed to be a good time. That's all this is supposed to be. And never forget that. Don't pay attention to any of the noise. Do your thing. Have fun. Be respectful to everyone. And hopefully you go as far as you can go. And that's what I tell them.
Yeah, the wrestling world is wild like that, because I can go to movies with a friend and I can enjoy it. I can watch basketball or football with a friend. I can enjoy it. If I sit and watch wrestling with a friend, I hate it. I want them to get out of my house because they're just ruining it for me, because they know this about, like you said, they know something about their personal life, or they see something like Rey Mysterio's beating the Big Show and like, that's not even possible. It's like, come on, man. This is supposed to be. It's no different than watching a movie and a TV show. Enjoy it while you can.
Right. It's entertainment. That's all it is. It's supposed to be. It's so, to me, it's my favorite form of entertainment. The art form of pro wrestling is entertainment. Is my personal favorite form of entertainment. And it's, hopefully we'll get back to, you know what, we don't care about anything while we're watching this. We're just watching this. If the guys are available to entertain us and they're there, regardless of what's going on in their personal lives, obviously they're there for a reason still, because they're available to be there. So we're going to watch them and just be entertained. And I don't want to know if this guy's winning the title next week because it's his turn, and or, oh, hey, this guy after 7 years is coming back. I don't want to know that. I want to be, dude, when Shane McMahon came back, that was the last big surprise because no one knew about it. Yeah. They hid it from everyone, and they hid him from everyone. When he came out, I remember losing my own, I was like, oh my God, Shane McMahon. So, yeah. That's my humble opinion. Again, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if they would have been able to do that with CM Punk, they would have had to bring me back to life. I would have just completely lost.
And we knew he was coming. It was still very good. Like, I think that was
very
the coolest thing AEW's ever done. That the way they handled the CM Punk thing, I think it was very, very good. But could you imagine if he would have just came out of nowhere and you had no clue he was going to be we knew he was going to be at AEW for like 3 months. Came out. But it didn't make it. It didn't make it not exciting. It was very exciting. But and they did it perfect in his hometown, and he didn't, like, get beat up by any bad guys or anything. So it was cool how they did it. They handled it very well.
Okay, so let's move on to the indies have opened back up after the pandemic. They've hitting with a bang. They're just shows everywhere. Have you been doing anything to keep yourself busy with any of these shows?
Oh, man, this week alone, I'm going to Jersey to wrestle Thursday, wrestling here in Maryland on Friday, doing an autograph session in Philly Saturday afternoon, and wrestling West Virginia Saturday night. So I have 4 things in 3 days this week.
Damn.
So I'm very blessed. And I love the indies, man. I was on the indies 14 years before I ever signed with WWE. So I'm very familiar, and I love those, because wrestling fans in person are so nice and so fun, enjoyable to talk to. And I love going to indie shows and reminiscing with these fans about the stuff I did on WWE, or, a lot of them go, man, like, you were a big fan of WWF and NWA growing up. Like, man, now you've wrestled for the WWE title and the NWA title. Ain't that all? Like, they bring stuff up like that. And you're like, man, it's just cool. Like, it's very enjoyable. Meeting fans all around the world, and because the independent wrestling fans, I always say, are the most loyal wrestling fans. I mean, they're going to indie shows to see you, so they know all about wrestling, and they're fun to talk to in person. Yeah, for sure.
Is there anybody on the indie scene that you're wanting to work with, or that maybe people should know about up and coming?
There's 2 guys. I run my own promotion here in Maryland, Adrenaline Championship Wrestling, adrenalinewrestling.com. Check it out, Adrenaline Championship Wrestling on Facebook. So the Sharpest Blade, Chris Slade, check him out. He is like a Rich Swann, Shane Strickland, which is Isaiah Scott on NXT now, or Leo Rush, or Chris Bay, like these really talented guys. He has the same kind of look as them, with the hair and the athleticism, and he's awesome, man. He wrestles for us. No one knows him yet, but I feel like in the next calendar year, he's going to blow up on the independent scene. And then we have this guy, Big Trouble Ben Bishop. Look him up on Twitter. He's a legit 6'10", just in great shape, good-looking guy. Gets gets wrestling, understand it. Been wrestling for 2 years now. I help personally train him. And he definitely, I think in the next 6 months, is going to get signed to one of the bigger companies because he just has the look. He looks like $1 million. So, yeah, Big Trouble Ben Bishop and the Sharpest Blade Chris Slade. Look these guys up. Check them out. No one knows them yet, but people within the next 6 to 12 months are going to know them, and they're going to do big things. I guarantee it.
You heard it here, guys. He guarantees it. So we're running low on time. So I'm going to allow you, if you have anything else to plug, you got your Adrenaline Wrestling, but is there anything else you'd like to plug before you get out of here, man?
Yeah, man, got to go pick up my daughter from school. That's, I'm a big family, man. I love my daughter. I have a beautiful fiance. I'm a very lucky and fortunate person. But anyway, before I go, check me out on Twitter at Real Ellsworth, on Instagram at James Ellsworth Wrestling, Cameo.com. Search James Ellsworth if you want a video from yours truly. Take care, man. Nice talking to you. God bless you. Stay safe. Remember, any man with 2 hands has a fighting chance. So,
thank you, man. Buddy. And good luck to the Ravens.
I enjoyed that. Good conversation with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.